Missing someone with all your missing someone
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. So this week I have a returning client, so we are working on doing a touch-up for her. So the last time I did her hair, she pretty much had no highlights in her hair, so this is kind of what her hair looked like after a first session with me. And originally her goal was to be kind of like as ashy as possible, but after doing a very ashy toner last time, she actually wanted to do something a little bit more warm and more neutral. So the last time we did her color, it was kind of more on the slightly almost gray side, and you can see by her fade out, it really left her hair still pretty ashy, I would say. Like when I saw her hair and she came and sat down in my chair, I noticed that her hair was still ashy, and she lifted really well. She is one of those really rare clients who is naturally like a level 3 or 4 but lifts really pretty. And then the other reason is she was maintaining her color with purple shampoo that I had suggested, and so she had been living with this type of like really ashy tone for a while, ever since we had done her hair, and this is just kind of what it's faded out to. And today, as she came in, she wanted to do something a little bit warmer, so I'm going to switch up her formula a little bit. But even though we're going to be doing something warmer, it's not technically warm in the sense that we're going to have any copper tones. She does just want it to be a little bit more neutral rather than gray, so we're going to work on doing more of like a neutral brown tone, like a Bronde tone, which is kind of like an ashy light brown tone, opposed to kind of like that grayish brown tone that we did last time. So in order to do that, I am going to foil her first, and she said she did want to go a little bit lighter. So as I'm zooming through this placement, I did start at the nape like I normally do. I did 2 weaves back to back, and then you can see me take a center parting section, and I am actively trying to pick out the sections that are a little bit longer, so you can see all the pieces that I kind of left out last time. That's kind of where I'm picking at, only because in our consultation before we started the color, she said that she wanted to go lighter. So when a client says that they want to go lighter, I am actively trying to pick out pieces that have the longest root. But if a client is asking to do the exact same thing or a retouch, then I'm trying to actively seek those old highlights that we just highlighted. So like, let's say she didn't want to go lighter, then I would literally try to pick out the pieces that I did last time and just touch up the root. But in this case, we are going lighter, so I'm using my long custom foils to cut to the length of her hair. Now, since this is her second session with me, she already has highlights in her hair, so I don't have to make my highlights so close together like I did the first time. So now I can space out my sections a little bit further apart as I'm actively looking for the parts that have the longest pieces of regrowth. And so what this is going to do is, since her first session with me, it was going from such a drastic change of dark to light, those sections were closer together just because I wanted to get a lot of the color done as far as creating a lot of lightness. But now that we're going in, she doesn't want to be super solid or anything, so we are spacing out our sections a little bit further apart so that we can create a softer blend for the root, but also kind of create a slightly lighter effect. Not in the sense that it's going to be as dramatic as last time, but it is going to have some subtle change into it, and kind of make the mids and ends a little bit more solid looking. And it kind of has that gradient to where the roots are gradually getting lighter as it gets towards the bottom of the hair. And for majority of this technique, I am just going to be slicing because I find that slicing is just a lot easier especially if a client has roots that are this long. Now, if she wanted something that was extremely soft and she had came in a lot sooner, then sometimes you can break up this type of sectioning pattern with weaves. But typically, if a client waits more than about 12 weeks or more, then I will kind of revert to slicing just to kind of get the highest impact with the least amount of sections. So for her money piece, we are working on doing a very natural money piece. We are not doing something that is going to be too drastic or too light in the front. So I did 2 weaves back to back and then just kind of connected those foils with a slice. And then now I'm going in and connecting her money piece to her side hairline, so I am making that a solid slice and then blending that next one with a weave to kind of create just a very soft and more subtle money piece to connect all of that. So for the products that I'm using, I am using the Blonde Me Sports Cough Lightener. I do a more diluted weaker bowl in the beginning, so I typically will use 20 volume for majority of the head, but that very first bowl that I always mix is going to be a little bit weaker just because I start there and I don't want to be rinsing out the hair when I'm not done foiling, so I kind of dilute that 20 volume with some 6 volume as my first starter bowl, and then the rest of the head I just generally use 20 volume. So there you can see I did a detailed hairline right above the ear, and now I'm going in and continuing my slicing pattern, again trying to actively seek those areas that I missed last time to create that lighter effect, but yet keeping my sections a little bit further apart than last time because we don't want something that is too solid, and we definitely want to soften her gras a little bit from last time. And for the sides, I'm just taking up that section all the way towards the top to connect that side to that middle section area. And as I'm going through too, I am actively picking out pieces that have been previously highlighted to avoid them as I foil throughout her head. So since we're going to be doing something not as ashy as last time, I am still going to try and lift her as light as possible to like a level 9 and 10 because we still want this color to fade out really pretty. But I do have her old toner formulation just in case you guys were curious because this is how it kind of faded out too. So her old toner formulation was at the root I used a 6-0 from a Liquid Dummy line, and then I did a mixture of 8-2, which is a level 8 violet, and then I kind of mixed that in with a level 6 ash to kind of deepen that ash tone. And so what that's going to do is the violet and that ash combined is just going to really make her hair super ashy and cancel out a lot of warmth, so that's why her hair was able to kind of stay ashy over time. But since I used a level 6 ash, it really did deepen the toner itself. And whenever you're doing any type of ash toner, if you tone a little bit darker than the goal, because the toner is always going to fade, you have a higher chance of the color fading into the color. And I usually will recommend that to a lot of clients, especially if they're wanting something that's low maintenance, because I always let them know that a toner usually lasts about 6 to 8 weeks, and if they want to fade out ashy, I would say to tone a little bit darker so that it fades more ashy, unless they're okay with it fading out a little bit quicker and warmer. So in her case, she wanted to be as ashy as possible when she first saw me, so that's why I used just ash in both toners. And then this time around, as we're rooting and toning her, I used the same formula for her root, which is the 6-0. And then for the ends, what I changed was I used 6-3, which is a level 6 gold, and then mix that equal parts with the 8-2. So the 6-3 mixed in with the 8-2 is technically going to essentially make like a level 7 gold violet, and that is going to kind of help warm up her hair, but at the same time not make it too warm and make it more of like a blonde neutral tone. And so again, we're not doing like a warm tone on her, but this is considered warmer compared to the last toner that we did. So as we apply this, we did the shadow root first, and then I apply the lighter toner on the mids all over. And after that, I will go in and brush the toner out and then reapply in certain areas that need a little bit more toning. I find doing it this way kind of gives it more dimension and a better melt when you kind of work in different zones and time it perfectly to create that really soft, dimensional, almost type of like an ombre look. Alrighty guys, so here is the finished look. You can see it turned into a beautiful, more bronze tone. It definitely looks more of a brownish tone than we did last time. And after the whole color, I did do a butterfly haircut on her to kind of give her some beautiful layers around the face and give her lots of volume as well too. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.